up on us, baby. Don't make the wrong seem right. The future isn't just one night. It's written in the moonlight.
Don't give up on me. I'm here. I'm late. 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 But I made it, guys. Tackle Talk Tuesday. Rockport, Texas. Live from the Yak Shack. Man, oh man, do we got some good questions today that came in. And a lot of them. Woo, a lot of them. We're giving away some good stuff today too. I know I kind of talked about it last week. But don't give up on me. I got you. I got you. You know what, guys? I'm just gonna send this out today. Not just for folks that submitted a pre-question, anybody that chimes in and participates. Basically, I'm just gonna write everybody's name down. I'll talk about it at the end of the video, how you can get your chance for an Engel cooler. Because I didn't give up on you, don't give up on me. I want to thank David Soul, Don't Give Up On Me, for our tunes today. I don't own the rights to that. People say that. But I just didn't want you guys to give up on me. Woo! Man, that drive was brutal. I was booking it, hammering down. We had some really good questions that I needed actually some props, right? Otherwise, I was just going to do it live from my house in San Antonio. But no sir, no sirree, no sirree, Bob. We got a lot of people joining on. Thanks, guys. George, appreciate it. Oscar, Lewis, Jonathan, George again, Justin, Joni. Pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. Lewis, Alvarez, thanks for joining. Gabriel, thanks for jumping on today. For those of you that haven't watched Tackle Talk Tuesday, I basically just give my take on what's working in and around the Rockport area. Give or take 30 miles this way, 30 miles that way. And really at the end of the day, my goal is for those folks that don't live close to the water, when you come down, this is what's working, right? This is what I'm using, what I'm catching fish with. And if it helps you any little bit, then I've done my job. The comments feed, feel free to disagree with me. Again, everything is in my own opinion. It's okay to disagree with me, but put your take in the comments because that may help somebody else, right? This is just a platform for all of us to work together and catch some fish, right? That's really, I think, what we want to do at the end of the day. If you're just tuning in again today, we've got a lot of submitted questions. Today's show is brought to you by ACK, Austin Canoe and Kayak, and they sponsored the Engel giveaway. So if you want to participate, make the feed rain, comment, post, share, disagree, make me laugh. If something sticks out, I will, I don't know how I'm going to pick them yet, but I'm going to pick them. I'm also going to give something else away. Don't give up on me, baby. We're gonna give away some Mustang traction gloves. And then we're also gonna give away a Hobie bucket mesh bag. So, if you guys are interested in any of the items and you don't win, make sure to go to ack.com and get you some because they're all super neat. Ba-da-da. Grab me a cold beverage. This is my first for tonight because I just got down. But it's hot. It was a hot one today. We may go through them and you'll get the entire scoop. But you guys feel like getting started? Do you feel like getting started? If you feel like getting started, Give me a bunch of thumbs up or heart shapes or I hate you faces, whatever you got to do. Whatever you got to do, put some on there, make it rain, and then we'll just jump into some questions. Hell, I may just pick a question that I really like if I talk about it. I may go back to the toy box and just pull something else out. So, making it right. Oh, you make me feel so good, guys. And I'm glad you didn't give up on me. Do we got to play it again? Don't give up on me, baby.
We can still come
We can still come through, guys, and we're coming through today. But all right, let's get started. Everybody got a beer or an adult beverage or hot tea or lemon water or something the CDC recommends that you drink at this time? Coffee, Gatorade, all's fine as long as you're here hanging out. This is Garage Talk, Tackle Talk Tuesday, where the show is for you, based on your questions, my opinion. Bring it in the comments. I'm feeling feisty today too, so let's have a good one, guys. Oh, Robert, thanks for joining. He's got the raspa, the ratchet snacks already. You know that thing's probably closed unless that's a homemade one. San Antonio Raspas better be shutting down tonight at 11:59 with chamoy and all kinds of puckery stuff, right? Pucker. But all right, let's chime into the first one. We got Bubba Penyon submitted a question yesterday when I asked, anybody got questions? And Bubba says, rod lengths on different length kayaks? Question mark? He said, does it make a difference? Bubba, that's a great question. And I think a lot of that depends on where you're fishing, right? I think if you're fishing in open water, inshore water, in the bay where there's not a lot of debris, structured trees hanging over, like a river, then no, rod length doesn't matter. The longer the rod, I feel you can get farther casting distance. So if you're staying saltwater, inshore, 7 foot's great, or up, right? You're gonna get a little extra distance. But I found that if I was fishing rivers, right? I used to fish a lot of Medina River in San Antonio, putting in on Highway 90 and 1604, there's a bridge. It's a hell of a trek, right? Going all the way down to Pleasanton Road. I really enjoyed a 6/8 or a smaller rod because there's a lot of debris in the water, and I don't want my rod tip to break, right? So smaller rod, I'm not making longer casts, I'm working smaller areas where a little pitch normally works. So if you're fishing rivers, downsize, fishing open water, whatever makes you get the most oomph is really what you're gonna want. So Bubba, I hope that helps, even if a little bit. But if you got more questions, shoot me a message, we can talk about it more. It's kind of what I like to do. So thanks for submitting the question. What you guys think? Anybody else have an opinion on that rod size? Put some in the comments. Wade, what's going on? Bubba, you joined, my man. He got 2 Corey Ogle, just don't have friends to invite me with. Oh, Corey Ogle's a good guy, man. Don't be giving him any shenanigans today. See, even he's this guy. Ooh, man, it is hot down here in Rockport. She. All right, so we got another question today. Kenneth Underwood. He said, talk about how long I try a certain color or plug before moving to a different one. Oh, Kenneth, that's a great question, but anybody that's watched before knows I like 2 color choices, light or dark, right? I'm gonna use that for my example. I'll start with one or the other. Typically, I start with light, something white in color, pearl in color, not something dark like this. This would be considered a dark. This is a dyed dapper plum with a, they say chartreuse tail, but it kind of looks green in my eye. But, you know, I'll give it its due time, right? And I would say I'll start off throwing a lighter colored swim bait for subsurface. I'll have a mantis shrimp on that's a white color with chartreuse tail on my popping cork. I'll start with a pink heat-in-one knocker top water, which is my light top water. And I'll work all 3 of those in different areas as I'm continuously moving down a shoreline, right? One, I'm looking for, hey, are they even biting anything light today? And if they are, great. Then the next thing I'm looking for, are they wanting it on the popping cork? Are they wanting it on the top water? Are they wanting it on the subsurface? And that, I think, is more important than light or dark. How are they biting? How are these fish reacting? How are they noticing the bait that I'm throwing out there for them to try to eat and gobble up, and so I can put them on the stringer and then put them on the frying pan, right? I'd say 30 minutes, maybe with one selection. Again, I'm doing all 3 rods, top water, popping cork, subsurface in an area. If that doesn't work, that I've been working for 30 minutes, I'll switch it up, right? Put some dark colors on until I can find the sweetness. Once I find the sweetness, then I'm gonna stick with that all day unless the bite changes, and then I'll switch back between light or dark. So, Kenneth, great question, and I hope that helps. Man, we got a lot of questions coming in. We got Austin, thanks for joining, sir. Good, man, I love it that you guys are answering questions too. I love that we're all able to share. So if you asked a question and I'm just a complete idiot and answer it wrong, please feel free to read the comments, because we've got a lot of talent that tunes in. You know, I think a lot of these guys are great fishermen, and not everybody does the same thing. So, all right, I'll catch one right here. Shannon Hudson says, how do you decide if you're going to keep your fish or release them? Shannon, I like to think I like to be an apex predator. And if I'm gonna catch something, especially in these times, I'm almost keeping my 3 redfish, right? Not necessarily for my freezer, but for my neighbor's freezer, or the neighbor next to me's freezer, or heck, who even knows, right? Unless you can hit up HEB at 7 o'clock, wait in line till 8 o'clock, you may not be in the running for some chicken or some whatever, ground beef down here. It's still a little tough, and I think people are still taking a lot. So lately I've been keeping almost everything I've caught. For one, I'm either gonna eat it that day, or if not, it's not gonna go to waste, and I'm gonna give somebody a hot meal with protein in, or allow them the opportunity to cook it that day. So I'm keeping right now. Right, if it's a huge 25-inch or up trout, I'm probably gonna let that go in hopes I can catch it later. But redfish for days. Redfish for days, because somebody's gonna eat it. So, good question. Let's roll with it. I'm getting a little parched. Today's koozie is come and go. And we've got a fresh Carbach Love Street that's also going down because my Modelo's done. So if you haven't tried Carbach Love Street, get you some love, because it's mighty delicious. All right. Hold on, we got one in here that caught my eye. Kevin Willis says, do you avoid the louder topwater lures when the water is calm and flat? No, not really, right? I use one brand of topwater, it's a heat-in-one knocker. And I use that in both light and dark. And I think because I feel that I'm halfway decent at throwing that one, right? I know the weight, I know how it moves, I know how it acts with each rod turn, or, you know, rod cast, rod twitch, reel turn. To where I've bought multiple of the same color in light, multiple of the same color in dark. So if they're not biting topwater, I'm not really carrying around a whole tackle box of topwaters to move from sheepdogs to, you know, whatever the case may be. Not that sheepdog's a bad topwater lure, I just found one I like. And it's the same knock, whether they're biting or not, I'm gonna throw it. If they're not biting, I'm gonna move on to subsurface or popping cork, or just keep on moving down the shoreline, because I'll feel that they don't want topwater that day. So I hope that helps. I know some guys though, right? They're like, oh, I need more loud knock because it's super windy, and this way they can hear it, right? I think, I don't know if I've got one. around here. I probably do, but I don't do that. I don't do that, and it's okay if you do, right? There's no wrong or right, Kevin. So, thanks. But if anybody's got an opinion on that, boom, put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. Adrian Garcia asks, what size of reds do you keep? Low 20s? So I follow Texas Parks Wildlife, right? I'm gonna keep legal limit from 20 to 28. I enjoy eating a, 22, 23, 24 inch redfish because it's a heck of a lot easier to clean than a 27 and 15 16th redfish that, just gobbles up everything. So if you ever cut a stomach open of a 27 and 15 16th redfish, they got all kinds of stuff in there. But the little ones I enjoy. I think they're a better taste. But hell, you slap that in some Slap Your Mama, a little bit of flour, put that in some grease. At the end of the day, they all go down the hatch. So, but I'll keep anything, anywhere in between those two. If it's not a tournament and I'm conserving weight and I just need to bring in 1 or 2 fish. But if I'm fishing for fun or fishing for food, if you're in the slot limit, you're going on the stringer. On the stringer again. Just can't wait to get on the stringer again. All right, what do we got? We got Julio Reyes. He says, anybody had time to check which lakes in Texas have shut down? Lakes are shutting down, everyone. And which ones haven't? I didn't get a chance to check, but we had some backup. Jason Welch commented on that. We also had John Williams who commented on that. Thanks, guys, for chiming in. They provided a website link. My recommendation would be to check the management company of the water body that you fish, or also check Texas Parks and Wildlife to where, they'll report which lakes are closed and what's open. And I'm sure you can check Facebook and see the craziness too, right? Don't go to Packery Channel, because who knows, right, if they're gonna be open or not, or run you off. So, we've got a guest that we'll have to social distance from. Someone showed up in the Yak Shack. Give me 6 feet. Give me 6 feet. Give me 6 feet that way. Give me 6 feet towards the door. Give me 6 feet. Give me 6 feet. Oh, my man. Oh, we got Gene showed up. Gene, thank you, sir. I appreciate the cerveza. I appreciate it, sir. Drink Corona, fight fire with fire. Damon Hub says, thank you. Thank you. We will fight fire with fire. It's the only way to fight fire is with fire. Which I posted a 360 video of a wicked fire at Aransas Wildlife Refuge. If you haven't seen that, check it out. Even that doesn't do justice. It was insane. There was ashes falling on David and R's head, and the sun disappeared. Wind kicked up. It was almost like it was from a movie. We started talking like, oh, our trucks are burning down. It was insane. But it made good video, right? That wasn't our intent to get out there. But hey, it happens, so. All right, we got Patrick Nelson. Patrick Nelson, thank you for submitting the, Gene, 6 feet, Gene, 6 feet. God damn it, Gene. God dang it. All right, Patrick Nelson, he says, hey, Matt, some anglers change their tactics between when they're fishing alone versus when they're out with friends, right? He says, what about me? He says, do you change anything when you go out with other people? 6 feet, Gene. If I go out with other people, I slow down a bit, right? I want everybody to have a good time. I want other people to come in. I want to catch fish. If I see fish out there, right, on a shoreline, I have a tendency to tell them, come on over, let's try to catch this, right? I think I find a heck of a lot of enjoyment in seeing other people catch fish, or showing them, look at these redfish going down the shoreline dolphining, right? Chasing bait, just coming out of the water. Or look at these redfish in these reeds rushing that shoreline, and you've got glass minnows jumping to the side. or how fast a mullet really jumps when it's being chased by something that wants to eat it versus oh, why are mullet jumping, right? Nobody knows. It's because something's chasing it. You know, you see, if you ever get out of the water before the sun comes up, the water's clear, normally. Crystal clear, no wakes, no nothing, right? But you start shining that light around, and you got these mullet jumping everywhere, pop, 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 because something scared them. So, I think, again, I'm not a mullet expert, mullet whisperer. I have no scientific background other than spending a bunch of time on the water and seeing what these fish do. Early in the morning when it's still not sunny. And the only reason these fish move around is because something's chasing them or something scares them. So, I kind of got off topic. I digress. I'm sorry, Patrick. But when I take people out, I want them to have a good time, right? It's really not about me catching fish at that time. It's let's all get together, let's be humans, let's have a good time, and let's all catch some fish, right? And I'll show you some pretty cool stuff. If I'm by myself, I'm just moving. I'll catch my fish. I'll either try to cull them out, upsize them because I'm fishing for food, or I'm just fishing for fun, and I'll catch a couple and then go about my way and be back at the boat before work at 7:30, huh? Yeah. All right, we got Tony Driggs chiming in. Thanks, Tony. He's asking if Gene came to the Yak Shack, and he did. Corey said they discontinued the one knocker pink with silver. Did they? I'm gonna have to. No. It's all right. I'll get someone to custom make it. CMG Lures make custom lures that can hopefully mimic that. Let's see what we got. Man, I love that you guys are chiming in. Thanks for chiming in and participating. Let's go to another question that we got on the books. Ken Torres asked if you could still fish down here. You can for now, right? Just stay at a safe social distance around from people. In Aransas County and Refugio County, they don't have a stay-in-place order, right? If they do have a stay-in-place order, read it, because sometimes it talks about outdoor activities, exercising. And in my book, kayaking is one of the best forms of exercise, both mentally and physically. And, I'm going to make the case on that. So, as of right now, Ken, yes, you can still fish down here. I'm not a law enforcement officer. I support the rules and regulations. I don't break the law. But until someone traps me in my house and says I can't go out, I'm going to stay a safe distance away from people. I'm not going to get them sick, and I'll self-isolate with a couple redfish on a stringer. So, good question, Ken. Let's see, we got Tony Driggs asking, fishing the marsh and back lakes, when is the best time to concentrate on these areas? Tony, great question. I like to concentrate on those areas all year long, right? Whether I'm fishing for redfish or duck hunting, I like to be away in the backwaters and the brackish waters and the shallow waters, regardless of time of year or when I'm not there, right? If the tide's not that low and I can still get back there, I'm gonna fish it. If the tide's too low and I can't get back there, well, I'm not gonna fish it. I'm gonna fish the mouth and some sloughs and some little channels that try to lead back in there. But between when I launch and when I get to the spot I wanna fish, I'm fishing there too, right? So if I find something midway back and I don't have to go 6 miles or so, I'm gonna stay where I find the fish, whether it's in 4 feet, 5 feet, or 5 inches of water. So hope that helps, Tony. Hope that helps. Kayaking, Austin Matthews. Kayaking equals exercise. Will that stand up to the police? Well, Austin, I back the blue, but in in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. So I think kayaking is exercise, and I'm pretty sure I can make a case on that, but I don't think it would come to that. So just saying. No, Patrick, no, we don't do that to the police at all, sir. Not at all. I've got a lot of police officer friends, family. Those are the good guys. So sorry. Just saying. We're not an NWA song producer in this garage here. That's right. So, all right, good question, Patrick. We got Bobby Valentine. He says, name fave fish to eat. Why it's fave? How you catch and prepare? I think he wants me to name the fish that I enjoy the most, why it's my favorite, how I catch and prepare it. So my favorite fish, which I don't catch a lot, would have to be the flounder. The flounder. And I think it has to do because I don't catch a bunch of them, or I haven't caught a bunch of them in the past year, right? To where I'm just like, man, a good stuffed flounder. If I had my way to prepare it, I like to stuff it full of crab and some stuffing, right? And then I bake it. And then nobody in my family likes to pick fish off the bone, right? So I'm kind of being selfish if I cook it that way, keep the bone in it and picking it. It's all mine. Don't tell my secret now if my wife's watching. Sorry, honey. But next flounder, it's all mine. I want an Oompa Loompa.
You want to?
I want an Oompa. Is that 6 feet, Gene?
Man, I'm at least one Chris Castro away.
All right. You know, you can come back here in the video if you want. I can't flip it sideways because I already started. We're going to have Gene here. I've got a 6 feet. Get back more.
Ah, man.
6 feet. I've got hand sanitizer and all kinds of stuff.
Here, you want a drink?
No. What color shirt will you be wearing when the fish are biting? I don't know yet, right? That's whatever I wear when I wake up. So, or when the fish are biting. It depends what day, Daniel. I actually like a nice, calm, salmon-colored Columbia tee with a nice hoodie to block the sun. Not pink, salmon. It's a little sun-faded because it's seen better days, but that's my favorite fishing shirt to wear. Or an Anatech. If you guys haven't seen Anatech shirts, they're like $50. But this like bamboo, cotton weave, I don't know why I'm getting into this right now because we got a bunch of questions. But it's the best, most comfortable shirt I have ever worn in my life. But I can't afford it. So Anatech, if you're watching, throw some shirts my way, man. I will wear them every day.
I think it's pronounced Anetic.
Gene, get back up. Get back up. Anatech, Anetic, whatever, Gene. Whatever. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, you invited.
I know. All right, so we got Corey Ogle chimed in. He said, being that the spawn is coming, methods on locating and finding trout, or what to look for. Grassy areas, water depth, etc. Corey, we ran into some trout on Sunday. They were probably holding about 2.5 feet over thick grass that hadn't breached the surface yet. So, if there's a tournament this weekend, right? I know they have a conversation planned for a little later on today if there's going to be an online tournament from TKFSA, which I hope they do, right? I'll social distance. I won't be around anybody. Pinky promise. I won't yell Red Rover. I won't send nobody on over. But that's where I'm going to go looking for my trout, is over super grassy areas that haven't breached the surface in about 2.5, 3 feet. So, good question, Corey. You've been catching a lot of fish too. Corey Ogle, if you guys don't follow him on Facebook, from what I see, he's a heck of a fisherman. He catches redfish, he catches big fish. He's got a Hobie Outback, which is pretty cool, with a deck mat on it. I know last week somebody asked about a deck mat. If you want to know what a deck mat feels like on your entire kayak, give Corey Ogle a shot. Shoot him a message. I'm sure he'll give his take on it. Give me a give his take jingle. There you go. Give his take jingle right there by Gene. Those love streets are good. Feel the love. All right, so we got another question. Rudy Aranda. He says, when fishing new water, what are the main things you look for? Rudy, when I'm fishing new waters, I do the exact same thing I'm fishing in not new waters. Says trying to connect him. Okay, I'm back. Woo! We're back. Kayak Matt Murphy here. Kayak fit. No, just joking. When fishing new waters, what are the things I'm looking for? I look for the same things. I'm looking for redfish crashing the bait. I'm looking for swirls in the water. I'm looking for fish jumping. I'm looking for backs and tails. Really, it's the exact same thing. I've just either traveled farther or I've put in a new launch. I know when I'm fishing new water, I'm a lot slower because I want to learn the bottom. I want to learn the topography. I want to see what the fish are doing in that area. I like to take my sonar with side scan. So I have one kayak that doesn't have it. I have one kayak that does have it. Although I normally use that kayak with the sonar for freshwater fishing. If I'm exploring a new area, I want to see where the bottom is, where the drop-offs are, if there's any rocks underwater that I don't see, and then mark it and ping it until I can put it in the old noggin to where I don't need it. So if you got sonar, you're fishing new water, I'd say give that a shot. If you don't, use the best fish finder you have, which is your eyes, your ears, your head, your shoulders.
Your fingers.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Knees and toes. Oh, God. What's funny is my kid keeps singing that song, and he tells me I don't sing it right, so.
I'm Matt.
It's stuck in my head. All right.
Spell check.
Give me a jingle.
That's a jingle?
All right. All right, so we got Damien Hubbs, which I didn't answer your question last week, Damien. I'm sorry, I skipped it, and it had to do with a hook sharpener, which I do. 6 feet. 6 feet.
Hurry up, I can't hold my breath that long.
6 feet. 6 feet. 6 feet. I'm gonna kick you out of my yak shack. I do, I carry this. Does that make sense? I grab my little hook. You can whistle while you work if you want to.
How's that for a jingle?
And I don't necessarily do this or sharpen a hook that's fresh out of the bag, but sometimes I'll have a little rust or corrosion that I just get it off, right? You can spit on it and it works a little better too. So that was last week's question. Thanks for tuning in last week. But this week's question is not a question. It's just a comment, but I appreciate the kind words, sir. I appreciate it. I won't read it online because I'm not a self-boaster, right?
You want me to read it?
No, you can't read it. If you read it, it's too close. Unless you got it on your phone, you know. No, don't worry about it. If you get it, if you find it, I'll give you your couple minutes to read it live on Codfish in Texas. All right, Michael asks, weedless setup. Let me show you real quick. This is why I got this weedless setup. Owner, swim bait hook. You can buy it at Academy, you can buy it at Tackle Town. You can buy it on Facebook now. Or not Facebook. Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon. Because Academy may be closed, right? And I'll use a dye dapper because I think David Morissette talks about a dye dapper, so. Right?
The hell is he right?
I don't know. I also, guys, if you go to Matt Murphy Outdoors YouTube, I've got a 1-minute video of how to put these two together, right? You can go check it out. We're gonna stick that in here like this. Let me find somewhere it doesn't get blurry. Stick it in, screw it in. Screw it in, screw it in. All right, so now we got this, right? Uh-oh, trying to reconnect. God dang, I'm not getting good service today. I am not.
I think this is supposed to be sung.
What is it?
Damien's comment.
All right, I'll let you sing it.
I'll, if I do it wrong.
All right, I'm back. All right, I don't know why my phone keeps acting crazy today. It's probably because it's 105 degrees in this yak shack. All right, we got here. This is where I left off, right? Then what you want to do is actually measure. Let me find you want to measure where the hook will come out at. Let me put it in front. Oh, okay, right here. That's where it's going to come out. What you want to then do is put your hook through to where it comes out, and most importantly, I like to make sure that the profile of the swim bait is gonna stay parallel, right? It's not gonna be all kinked up like this, or the hook's too far where you're gonna have too far up front where you're gonna have a bend in it. Because if it stays straight, you're gonna have a natural swim when you're retrieving the hook. Now to make it weedless, it's not really a magic trick, right? Right now you see the hook is exposed. If something tough goes over it, it'll hook it. I like to embed it. So you just grab a little bit and put the tip of the hook just barely in. Let me see if I can get my ugly mug's in the back. All right, you guys get the concept? Put the tip of the hook in. That way, when you're throwing into the nasty, or you're throwing into the grass, or you're throwing it towards the shoreline because these redfish are going crazy in the reeds, you can basically run anything over it. But when that fish comes up, he's stalking it, dunna, 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 and he bites down, that hook pops up. And this would be his mouth. Then you just, yeah, yeah, and you get ready for the sleigh ride, right? So, that's basically what it's like, right? So that's how you rig it weedless. And that may answer David Morsett's question later on when he says, "Yes, you can't hook these dye dappers, right? Because the hook's too small." Or it sounds like they got a shallow bite, right? But we'll get to that question. I'll talk about that in just a bit. Beer drink break, jingle. Oh man, that's enjoyable. Love Street by Carbach. Not sponsored today. Give me 6 feet.
Give me 6 feet, give me 6 feet, mister. Give me 6 feet from your ass.
Stay 6 feet. Stay 6 feet. Remember, this is a family show, G. Kids watch this.
I didn't say nothing.
Profanity is not a go-go. Don't leave me solo. Wake me up before you go, cause I'm not planning on going solo. Wake me up.
Oh, wait.
All right, see, we dropped rankings. Now we're down to 30. We're at 50. So, dang it. All right, let me get back on subject, guys. Sorry, it's been a long day. We got Steve Silvas. He says, guidance on recreational fishing during quarantine. If you can't get out, don't get out. If you can get out and it's legal in the county, get out, all right? Follow your local guidelines. Follow the direction of our elected officials because they know what's best for you. So, just saying. Uh-oh, trying to reconnect. God dang it.
Crazy.
This is the first time this happened to me in the Yak Shack. I wonder... dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it.
See what happens when I show up?
Mm-hmm.
It's my fault.
Oh. Can you go live?
I don't know. I could try.
Yeah. Not connected?
Let's see. We're live.
The world's shutting down. You know what? We're just gonna cut this out. Heck with it. Boom! Here we go, guys. We're gonna go with, if this opens back up, we're gonna GoPro it, right? Work through the issues, work through the problems, and we'll upload it later. And hopefully I don't have to cut any of this from profanity or anything else that you saw behind the scenes that you shouldn't have seen. Just saying. Just saying. All right, we're going to go to another question that we've got. And if this live pops up, great. If not, it'll give an opportunity to post this on the YouTube of Destiny. David Smith asks, he says, are trout and redfish like bass? He says, do you need a fish structure of some kind to catch them? You know what, David, for some reason, redfish got the nickname channel bass for a reason, right? I don't know where that comes from. I just know if you ever Google redfish, you go to Wiki, you'll see all the other names of what redfish were called at one time, right? I like to think redfish are ambush predators, right? So they'll find current, they'll find structure, they'll find rock, they'll find little eddies in a shoreline, and they ambush bait. So in a way, they're like bass, but they fight a hell of a lot harder, I think. So if you got to target them or try to place them and use a lot of your freshwater abilities that you've learned over the years, attack them just the same, and I think you have some success on that. So, oh, what's that? You have a question? Oh, no questions. We're still trying to connect. So. We got Tom Shope. He says, can we organize a socially distanced tournament since looks like we may all get time off? Every day down here at the coast is a social tournament, I'd say. If you can get on the water, get on the water. If you can, again, like we've talked about before, follow the rules, right? Nobody likes a rule breaker unless you don't have a wife or a girlfriend and she's looking for a bad boy. Then maybe break the rules, live life on the edge, go buy a Harley or a Hobie. Coincidence. They both start with H. Not a coincidence. All right, we're looking at this one.
I'm looking at it.
All right.
I go, bro.
Hey, so good question. Good question. Here, you want to mess with this, Gene?
You think it's working?
I don't know why it's not even working on yours.
I don't know.
All right, so we've got
Socially cut off.
Lori, Russell. Well, they heard me probably talking about, like, you don't have to follow the rules. They're like, cut off this whole block. Cut off the block.
And then they saw me.
Hey, guys.
Breaking the law.
Breaking the law. We're doing a makeshift since my GoPro's running. And his phone doesn't want to connect either. So we're just going to talk through the questions. It's just on record. So feel free to make yourself at home at a 6-foot distance. All right, we got Lori, Russell. They asked, talk a little bit of how you fish Italian Bend, Pete's Bend, Swan Lake, and Shrimp Farm, and the surrounding shorelines if you fish them. So yes, I fish all of those, and I fish all of them kind of the same, right? Italian Bend has the same type depth of water where it's a gradual, the depth gradually gets greater as you go through that little channel that runs through in between the two shorelines. Really what I do if I'm in any of those lakes is that, I'm standing up and I'm really not blind casting, right? There's a bunch of grass pockets. There's some shell mixed in there. You know, I'm casting to grass pockets and potholes and those types of things. But typically, if the redfish are in those areas, you're gonna see them, and you're gonna see them schooling, and you're gonna see them together. I like to really throw at shadows, or what look like shadows, or black, you know, moving black marks in the water. I know you're a fisherman. You fish in Nueces Bay quite often, so you know what a redfish looks like under the water in kind of murky water. That's the same way that I attack these places, right? The wind's either pounding one way or pounding the other, and that's what happens. So, and that's
I like what you said about wind, because you know when it comes down to wind, that's where you decide where you're gonna go.
Oh yeah.
And then you know, like especially in places like Swan Lake, you got all those grass islands. Basically, you've got right there, right on top of you, you see where the grass is. You can tell, well, the grass is the high spot, so somewhere in the middle has got to be some sort of channelization.
Absolutely.
And right now is the best time to go out and learn those areas, since the growth is low. And because what about May, July, somewhere in between there, forget about it.
Yeah, if you're a peddler going through those places, you're not going to get very far. And I mean, right now it's prime time. And again, I'll just make a pass in those areas, depending if I launch from the strip farm or if I launch at Port Bay and go to Italian Bend. If I don't see them, I'm moving on somewhere else. So, good question. All right, we got Tom Shope. He says, opposing team members fish together to verify catch. Do a length tournament, post pics and total inches of the species. And I guess he's adding on to his, can we have a socially distanced tournament? Tom, I like the first idea. The second idea of having an opposing teammate follow me around to some of the places that I catch really big redfish, I'm not favorable of. So maybe a funsy day, but some of the places that I find these redfish might take a very, very few select people there. And my competition, I would definitely not like to take them there, right? Especially for a social distancing tournament when, you know, there's some other tournaments that pay out big dollars, and those are my continuous go-to spots. So, but
if he was saying using like an online thing where you have everybody else verify your length,
yeah, like Tourney X,
or something like that. That's kind of, I get the idea there if that's what he was trying to get at.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And not having your competition with you, but your competition judging your length.
Like you post it on the site, like if we did one with KFT or like on the couples, we do it all the time. Someone posts a picture and it says, "Verify me, please," and the admins of that one are the final call. But when you have a lot of people verifying, you know, what they see, it's kind of like I don't know, call it a group.
Oh yeah,
approval.
No, absolutely. And Gene, I'm sorry, I know you jumped in midway. Did you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi guys, I'm Gene.
Gene, you have a YouTube channel as well.
I have a YouTube channel. If you can tell just how I'm a little bit weird, I'm also the worst fisherman you might ever meet. But that's a long time ago. I'm real good now.
That's your worst fisherman is your YouTube name, right?
My YouTube name is, the name of the channel is Adventures of the Worst Fisherman, and then you're gonna spell worst like it's sausage from New Braunfels.
All right.
So I worked in New Braunfels for a long time, and that's where I created the channel. And well, Worst Fest was just happened to be on at the same time, and that's how it worked. Good. But yeah, if you ever want to go out and have a good time and watch somebody do some stupid things, I'm your guy.
He's a lot of fun though, man. It makes the day go by great. So we had, good question, by the way. We have Jesus. He asked about going number 2. Oh man, Jesus, I'll leave that to your creativity. But you're still in the running for the Ingle cooler later on, right?
Rockport bidet.
That's right.
All day.
I know you have a Hobie Outback, and there's multiple uses for that hole in the middle of your kayak if you need to.
Pull the drive, buddy. Pray for no floaters.
Just saying. We got David Villarreal. He says, general question, what lures are working on reds right now? Well, dye dappers always seem to be working for me. For me, they're like in a darker presentation. I like the sea shad combination, which almost mimics a mullet. So it's going to be black on the top with a light white on the bottom. They're not really chasing it down like a aggressive attack or an aggressive bite. But if you find a redfish, you see a redfish, you put it in front of the face, and if you stop, they're more scavenging the bottom. And I'm finding that they're picking up the whole bait in its entirety. So dye dapper's been working. Also a 4-inch gulp shrimp has been working too. You want to see if you can still go live again? Maybe we can jump on with these last couple questions.
Sure, let's see.
We got David Morset. He asked, again, we kind of talked about that earlier. He said, owner, weedless hooks with large, fatter baits such as dye dapper doesn't appear to have enough gap for a decent hook set. Maybe demoing on my own rig. So I know we kind of talked about this and earlier, and I showed the example. This is the rig that I use. So there's going to be a lot of excess, right, in the lure. But, you know, I find if it's a short bite, that it's okay. It was probably a smaller fish. Most of the redfish that I've been catching that have been upper slot size redfish have no problem inhaling the separation between where the bait ends and where the hook begins, right? If I get a short bite, then it's probably a smaller fish, and I'm not worried about that anyway in times like this. So, good question. Albert Soto, he says, for all the older anglers, do you take any aspirin, biofreeze, keep from... Don't get too close, Gene. Don't get too close, man. Times like this. I'm serious.
Well, I can toss it in your ear.
Biofreeze to keep you from aching or hurting during or after a kayak tournament or after kayaking. Says he knows a guy that takes aspirin every time we go out. I'll say individual days, right? If I'm going out Saturday and Sunday, normally I don't take anything. But if I'm preparing for a big tournament to where I'm going out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, by day 2, I start to have some type of muscle soreness. I like to eat bananas, right? Take that for what you want. I know it's a curse on some of the boat, but the potassium helps my muscles. I drink pickle juice, and in the morning sometimes I'll take an aspirin if David has aspirin in his truck, because I always forget. But if he's got it and he says, man, let's take an aspirin, we're all getting older.
So yeah, the difference between he and I've got a few years. So yes,
what,
I have
10.
I got 10 years on him. So that means I have 10 years of achier bones and muscles. So as an older man, yes,
seasoned.
Have yourself. You know, seasoned is my beard. I'm still older.
All right.
I'm older. It's okay. I'm okay with that.
All right. Salt and pepper.
I'm all right with that.
Salt and pepper, salt and pepper, salt and pepper. Salt and pepper's here.
Yo, baby pop. Yeah, you come here, give me a kiss.
Love it. I love it. Albert, good question. So if you're more towards Gene's age.
Advil works great. Ibuprofen's a wonderful operation you can take.
And if you have naproxen, even better.
Same thing, yeah. And you know, if you got a prescription for ibuprofen from the military, they're going to give you 800 milligrams, or just take 4.
Yeah, exact same thing. Good question though, Albert. Yes, I do take muscle altering substances.
Let's just call them NSAIDs.
Yeah, all right. We got Justin chimes in. He says, the last time I went out, I caught 18 to 19 inch reds all day. Baby? Wait, he didn't say baby, but that's the way I feel. He said 25 to 30 of them. He said, do you have any tips on how to bring in the bigger fish on days like this? Well, Justin, I'll tell you the truth. It's hard to leave fish when you're catching them. Right, because I enjoy catching 18, 19 fish. I enjoy setting the hook. I enjoy just catching fish in general, right? If you're catching a bunch of them, there may just be a bunch of those fish around, right? There may not be any bigger fish. And at that point, you have two options. You can stay and have a hell of a lot of fun catching fish, or you can leave in search of trying to find fish. So it's up to you, right? There's bound to be a 20-incher in there or more. It's just those little fish are a little more feisty, and they want the bait a little more than the big boys do. So you can either upsize your presentation, right, by going with a larger bait to try to scare away some of those smaller redfish, or make it worthwhile for a bigger redfish to actually attack a bigger bait, or you can move, right? Good question though.
Go from elementary to middle school.
You can, right? Upsize. Like I'll take a number 5 with fries. Yes, please. Super size. Jingle.
Super size me. Super size me.
We got Arthur. He says, how do you catch a fish? Arthur, you're a heck of a fisherman. I know with the jetties closing, it takes away some of your prime spots, but
gig, man.
I know, man. I'd love, if you haven't watched Arthur, like, he wins tournaments left and right and left and right and right and left and left and right and right and left and left and left and right and right and left right all the time. If anybody needs to follow him or see what he's doing, if you enjoy fishing on the jetty, I'd recommend looking up Arthur Toscano. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. If I'm butchering that, Arthur, my sincere apologies, sir. Next beer's on me. So, man, it's tough without an audience.
It is weird.
I know.
It's a little weird.
I've got a couple.
But it's okay. Suddenly we've upgraded to your first podcast.
That's right.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka is my first podcast, man. Murphy Outdoors. Get it while it lasts. Meow, 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 meow.
And he keeps asking me for jingles.
We got Luis Hernandez. He said, what's up, man, Murphy? He says, can you mention a good app that's good for tracking the tides? He said, what's a good one that you rely on? Luis, I don't have an app that I use, right? I don't have something on my phone where I'm looking at the tides. Most of the time I just show up, right? I'm gonna fish it regardless. But if I'm trying to prep or I'm getting myself excited about it and I'm doing research and I'm looking online, I simply go to Google and I type in tide charts, Rockport, Texas, or tide charts, Portland, Texas, or tide charts, Corpus Christi, Texas. Gene, unless you've got an app.
I tried one. I used it a couple of times, and only because I was interested to see what it would tell me. And it said tides for fishing, and it was, I went ahead and paid the $5 for it just to, get the whole shebang out of it. And I probably am going to delete it because in a lot of ways, I know the waters I like to fish, and if it's a low tide, well, then I just know I gotta walk a little farther. So, you know, it's just wear some good shoes and keep your skin off the oysters.
Keep your skin off the oysters. That's an old salty tale right there. Just keep your skin off the oysters. But, there's nothing wrong with going, help yourself. Nothing wrong with going online and just Googling any place, right? You can look at the times. If they've got a chart, you can see when it's going up or when it's going down.
Windfinder, depending on what buoy you're looking at, will tell you if the tide's up or down as well.
Is there a buoy in Port Bay?
There is not. So Port Bay doesn't deserve a buoy because you can walk and get to your spots. But like the buoys that are in, say, Mustang Island or Port Aransas Channel, stuff like that, those will have some tide movements on there.
Nice. Real-time tide movements, too.
That's true.
True. All right, we got Mike Flores. Oh, he chimed in. He said he uses the Windfinder app, so that's good advice, Mike. Thanks for chiming in, man. I appreciate it. You and I will meet soon, sir, if we can. Somehow. Somehow. We got Cole. Again, he's asking about toilet paper, so he must be in need. But I will say this. If you're looking for toilet paper, go to an RV store. Walk inside. It's not gonna be some Charmin, but there's gonna be toilet paper in an RV store.
TV there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's gonna be safe for your drains, so your plumber will love you.
This is true.
Oh my, what? What's that? Clogged pipes? Not with RV toilet paper.
Not today.
Not today, TP. Let's see what else we got. I'm scrolling through some of these questions. We got Oscar. He asks, what area waters that you fish or have fished before are more affected by tides than others? Thanks in advance. For me, Oscar, the area that's most affected by tides is Lighthouse Lakes for me. I mean, it's very prone. It's close to the inlet, right? Port AJs are right down the street, in and out. Tide movement's really thick there. I've had a personal experience where the tide has been completely sucked out, and I've been stuck back there and had to walk out. And it took me about 3.5, 4 hours. So everywhere else you can kind of see it, right? If you're getting to some skinny lakes and you see water pulling out as you're going in, you know, just kind of keep an eye on it, especially if you already see half of that grass line is not underwater anymore. But the place I'm most scared of is Lighthouse Lakes when there's heavy tidal movement. So, G?
Yeah, I've gone and said plenty of expletives a couple of times in Lighthouse Lakes. So much where I don't even go back there anymore.
See, I hardly ever go there because
if I'm gonna go back there, I gotta have a motor.
Oh man,
with at least 200 horse behind it.
Let's see. We got Aaron. He asks, "How do you feel about folks traveling to fish, and are launch spots still open?" So we kind of talked about that earlier in the day. I'm fine with people traveling to fish. It's even better if you travel solo to fish or stay a safe distance away from others. That's my opinion on it. So we got Chelsea Thompson. She says, what are some basics needed to get started to transition into kayak fishing as far as kayaking gear, kayak accessories? She says, not new to fishing, just from a kayak. She says next month she's moving her kayak from the lake, which has just been entertainment purposes, to down here. I think a lot of what you enjoy in a kayak out at a lake is really the same that you can enjoy here in the salt, right? You're gonna need your whistle, you're gonna need your life jacket, you're gonna need your fishing gear. I will say, because the winds tend to be stronger here, or you go out in the morning, it's calm, by 10 o'clock wind's kind of kicked up, by the time you're heading back to the truck, it's full blown in your face. It always happens. I'd say travel light, and until you get the hang of it, just don't go too far. There's a lot of fish that you can catch within close proximity of where you launch, and just get out there and have fun. I think, really, throw some lures, throw some bait, throw some live bait, throw some dead bait, throw some fish bites, put something with some stank on it, some stank stick, right? Or use gulp. Get out there and take 1 or 2 rods in, and I think you'll have a good time. Gene?
Chelsea, my thoughts, judging from your profile picture, you wade fish. So I would definitely think of a kayak leash that you would attach to yourself in some way, shape, or form. So that to me, I just started jumping off my kayak, which is weird because as a Hobie owner...
Don't you normally fall off your kayak?
Well, that's why I started walking. And now I've learned to fall better, call it falling with style.
Oh, nice.
And it just depends on what kind of balance you got. You can go with a super wide 38-inch wide something or other that's out there, or you can challenge yourself with the Hobie Revo, which is only 28 inches wide. And good luck standing on that if you're a man. There's not much room for activities when you stand up on there. Just saying.
That's good advice. Chelsea, thank you for your question. I hope that helps. We got David Browder. He asks, do I take binoculars or a monocular with me? I did at a time if I'm glassing different water bodies, or if I'm looking at bigger lakes that have a lot of distance to cover between where I put in and where I got to get across.
Don't lie, you're classy. You wear a monocle now.
Right, I look
like the Monopoly guy.
like, why are you always squinting, man? No, I'm just trying to hold that in. I used to, David. I used to take binoculars out there, but I found that condensation and salt water ruined them, even though they were anti-fog, waterproof, and I haven't brought one out yet. So since that's happened, but I did for a while because you can really see across, any body of water that you're going to be fishing and find out if it's worth crossing or not. Really, so. Good question. Gene, you don't take binoculars, do you?
I have never taken binoculars on the water.
Yeah, I used to, but...
if you're going to be searching for birds far away, you're not going to make it.
Yeah, exactly. We got Craig. He asked, do you ever transport your yak on a boat to get to farther locations? Fence Lake, for example. I have ferried my kayak on the 21-foot Carolina skiff that I have. At first, I don't do it very often now. And the reason I don't do it very often is because, it would be fun to get out there, but if I find a honey hole that's just stacked with redfish, tournament-sized redfish, if I can't physically get there for a day of a tournament, it's not really worth ferrying my boat. I'll do it sometimes when I'm duck hunting. Right, I'll put the kayaks on the boat, take it out there. But for fishing, no, not very much. So
I've never mothership, so I don't know.
Mothership. Yeah, no, that's a good question. And it's not allowed in tournaments. A lot of times I pre-fish for tournament fishing. So, all right, what else do we got? We got John Serta. He called it mothershipping. John, thanks for chiming in. We only got a couple more left. We'll go with Austin Matthews. Austin, I really want to save your question. It's detailed. I'm going to touch on that next time that I go live. But thank you. Thank you for that. I think it's a really good question. I may comment it on the live post or the actual feed on my take on that. I think we're coming up. Now we're going on an hour and 15 minutes. Hour and 15 minutes. We've got a couple other questions on here that, because there was technical difficulties, I'd like to add on to either a live video later on this week, or I'll pick them up first thing starting next week. I want to apologize that things just shut down. We tried going back live on 3 other people's phones here in the Yak Shack, and for some reason it would just freeze and pause. You're still going to be in the running to win the Ingle dry bag and some of the other goodies that I talked about. Again, sponsored by ACK. I'll post some details on what it'll take for you to win, which will really be going to the next level page, which is going to be Matt Murphy Outdoors. I'll post the actual winner on that page, and we'll kind of go from there. Gene, thanks for coming in today.
It's been great.
Aside from we have to stay, 6 feet apart from each other, I know we're social beings.
Maybe next time we can actually shake hands.
Yeah, I know. I won't shake your hand now. So we'll see Gene in 7 weeks from now. But Gene will show up again in 2022.
Well, I'm kind of stuck down here for the next 2 or 3 weeks. So you might see me again. You never know.
Yeah, you might. But everyone, thanks for watching. Thank you, ACK, for sponsoring the goodies today. Thank Hobie Fishing Team. Thank you, Kayak Fishing Texas, for allowing this platform and the members within Kayak Fishing Texas' video/podcast/cast you can watch later on YouTube. Would be nothing without you. End of the day, get out there, catch some fish, have fun. Until then, Gene, thanks again.